700 days in total. I have not missed a single day. Let's go over the Espers that I have first. For PvE, I don't have a specific set for each Esper. My runes are flexible, so if I'm running them in Chronos, I have a specific set on them on Chronos, and if I run them on Apex, I will change the set on them, right? So first off, Liling, I have him at R6. Unlucky, he has been so useless for me, except for maybe the Calamity Tower for the fire one. He's decent for that one, but that's pretty much it. I have him at Divinate 1 because of the free one. I have another one, but I'm not planning to give it to him. I might give it to Tang Xuan, but for now I'm just gonna hold off on giving either of them because they're not really used that much. Ggez is R6. I did pull a few Ggez. I've never wished for Ggez, I don't think, but I have wished him from the club sticker. I think I've gotten one copy from club sticker, and I've pulled 2 copies from Flow Records, which is insane, and then the rest is from Gold Records. He has fallen off quite a fair bit in PvE, but I think he's gonna make a resurgence in PvP if you have like a really high resonance on him, because he can counter the new legendary Shimmer pretty well, and he sort of counters Ana as well if Ana is the only one in the battlefield. Also, I've got to show you the skill ups as well. Liling doesn't have any skill ups. He has max skilled up. Next one is Gabrielle. My Gabrielle is R6 because she used to be free. For those who are new, she used to be a fusion character that you can fuse by making a bunch of, like, I think 3 stars and 4 stars, but they changed the fusion system. I don't really use her all that much anymore. In PvP she is pretty good if you have her rival runes maxed out, because she's really fast and she provides the 3 turns of immunity. But yeah, I don't really use her that much. I have her max skilled up. No dividend on her though, because I don't really use her. Ollie, this guy, I have never wished for him. I did pull on his initial banner, but at the time we don't have any wish stones. You only have rate up, and he was rate up by 10%. Every time you get a legendary and you don't get Ollie, your rate up increases by 10%. So after 10 non-Ollie legendary, you are guaranteed to get an Ollie. But yeah, that was a dark days, to be honest with you. The gacha was so terrible. Everyone hated it, everyone complained about it, and they changed it, which is a good thing. And now we have this gacha, which is not bad, but it still could be improved. But yeah, we've come a long way. I have never wished for this guy. I only pulled on his initial banner and got really lucky. I think I saved up like 300 gold record and I pulled like 2 copies of him, or maybe even 3. I can't really remember. Ever since the beginning, I hated this guy, man. You can watch all of my older videos, so like my first few DISLYTE videos is just me hating on this guy. He was the first banner unit, and he was, I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of underwhelming. Even when he was released, he was good, but he was not really, you know, crazy or anything like that. He's just, you know, balanced. And yeah, it was kind of boring, to be honest with you. I have never maxed out his skills. He has been 0 skill ups for the longest time, and I've pulled a bunch of copies of him. I've pulled like I think R10 of him so far. I've never wished for him. I've never wish stickered him. I've never spent wish stones on him whenever he comes in the rerun banner, but he just keeps on coming to my account, and his usability from R0 is pretty much the same as his R6. I'm hoping I can get his divinate from Gold Record, because his divinate is pretty good for Chrono speedrun, but that's pretty much it. My Clara is max skilled up except for her S1, and all of this is from Gold Record. I've never wished for her as well. Yeah, she's been pretty good so far, and I pulled her divinate from Gold Record as well. Not much to say here. Ahmed, I think I did pull during his banner, and during the time we also did not have wish stones, if I'm not mistaken. We started having wish stones when Ggez was released, and this guy was pre-Ggez, if I'm not mistaken. He is max skilled up on his S3 and S1, or S1 is not max skilled up, but I don't need it. He's at Resonance 3, again all from Gold Record. My Cecilia, if you're new, then you didn't see my summon video trying to get Shren Pin, and I lost a 50-50 to Cecilia R1. It's kinda sad. I pulled her R0 from Gold Record, so at least that's something, right? And then my Tever, both copies of Tever I pulled from Gold Record, so that's very good. Also, forgot to show you, my Cecilia is not skilled up. She doesn't need skill ups at all. She's just there to die and revive. That's it. Tever is max skilled up, and I have him at D4. I pulled 1 copy of his Divinate from Gold Record. He's been very good so far, but he has fallen off in PvP super hard. And in PvE, if the boss can be debuffed, then Tever doesn't really do much unless you have him at R6. At R6 is where you can outshines all of this debuff based character, but pre R6, Embla is going to do more damage for you. Even Mateo is going to do more damage, you know. All of this debuff based character will outshine him. JJ, I pulled him from Shimmer Record. I think this was the first legendary Shimmer if I'm not mistaken. I pulled him from Shimmer Record, but before that we didn't have any PT for Shimmer Record, so I pulled him before the PT was even a thing. At that point, he was really good in PvP. You kind of insta win as well, just like how the new Shimmer 5 stars are. You kind of insta win in PvP if you run him, and in RTA he was so disgustingly overpowered, even before the Divinate era, right? Because before Feng Nusi got released, his counters were so limited, and at that time as well, being able to one-shot a unit from 100 to 0 was so overpowered. Donar is free. Before he was in the shop, I think I pulled 0 copies of him, so I got all of his copies from the shop. He's also max skilled up as well. Alright, Lucas, there's a story behind this, right? I have his Divinate level 7 and he has max skilled up because I wanted to gain some power to him so that I can finish up this thing right here. And it's not just because of this, he's also in the Materia Research Lab, so by giving him my Abilimons, I'm also getting some basic stats in PvP, which is, you know, 2 birds with 1 stone, right? I'm getting rewards from his Path of Experience, and I'm also getting stats for PvP for my entire team. Before he was in the Fusion, you can only pull him in Gold Record. He was the free Esper for the Temporal Tower, not Temporal Tower, it's a Spatial Tower if I'm not mistaken. Donar was the first version of the Spatial Tower, and then it was Lucas, and then now it's Sally, right? Everett, yeah, I don't use this guy anymore. He has max skilled up, but I have 0 use for him. PvP, I don't use him. PvE also, I don't use him. He doesn't have the Divinate because, again, yeah, this guy kind of fell off super hard. My Ashley is max skilled up, and I rarely ever use her outside of PvE. PvE, she is still being used in Andra's team, and I think that's about it. I don't use her anywhere else. In PvP, she kind of fell off with the release of Ana. She has double AoE, so every time she AoE attacks, she's just gonna get countered by Ana. Because of Mavis as well, she keeps on reducing the enemy's cooldown, or not cooldown, the AP. This is very bad against the Mavis comps. I don't think I used Wish Stones on her as well. I've never wished for her in my club rituals. All of this is just from pure GR summons. Camille is free. She's also maxed out on her skills because she used to be part of my main PvP comp with Ashley. It was so fun to run Ashley with like a bunch of these AoE Espers just to proc her passive of the Rainbow Bridge. It just does so much damage. Back then, Cleave team was so hard to run, but Ashley made it work because of the 10% of the enemy's max HP, right? This was so good. The inflated stats made it so you can only really cleave with a Shren Pin or with an Ashley in your team. Embla, alright, this one I went straight, no, I only summoned for her, I think R0, and then I pulled 2 copies of her from Gold Record, so I used 100 Wish Stones on her, pulled 2 copies with Gold Record, and then, no, I pulled like 4 copies or 5 copies from Gold Record, and then the last Residence, I used the Ripple Orb box. She's been super good, she's max skilled up as well, and she's at Divinate 2. I don't really plan to give her the Divinate 3. The difference is, it's a lot, but I don't really care. As long as I can get top 100 in Falsetto Fantasy, I'm content. Jin Yu Yao, her R6 has been evading me forever. I think I have like R5 for the longest time. Her R6 is a game changer. She now reduces her S3 cooldown whenever an ally is debuffed or an ally is stunned. And she also has max skilled up because her passive, when she is max skilled up, is kind of busted. I probably won't be summoning on her Divinate unless like I have like a bunch of excess disc just to get basic stats on her. But yeah, getting it from Gold Record is going to be very nice. My Brewster, I do wish for him, and I think I used wish stones on him as well, up to R2, and then I stopped there. So I used like 300 wish stones on him, I think, or was it 200 wish stones? I pulled like one copy of him, and then the rest is just from additional pulls and from club wishes. I think I got like one copy from club wish, or maybe 2 copies from club wish, and then I also used the Inferno tickets, the one that we get from season 0 of Celestial Anomaly, to get 1 copy of him. Tang Xuan, he's at R4. I don't really use him all that much anymore. His Divinate is also the free Divinate that we get. He's not max skilled up. Yeah, I don't use him at all. Abigail, I use her in in knockout, but not so much in Point War anymore, and I don't really use her in PvE that much anymore. I have her at R4. I waited to give her the R2 because her R2 actually makes her weaker than Tricky. So I waited 2 copies to get her straight to R3 to get the basic stats. Fatum Sisters, she was given for free. She's still free, but I pulled like 4 copies of her from summons, and I think I also pulled them from Flow Record, one of the copies. Yeah, she's pretty good. I have her max skilled up, but when they were released, they were kind of outshined by a 4-star character, which is, you know, I hated them when they released because they didn't really provide much for the team. This one didn't have the misrate up. The misrate up was on her Resonance. I think it was Resonance 2. Her AP down was the same, but we had Sienna that has 100% AP erasure, right? While they only do like 60%. And then this one also didn't have the invincibility, if I'm not mistaken. It only cleanses and also grants you the speed up. Yeah, they were kind of weak as well. TA, I pulled her first copy before she got nerfed. I think like 1 week before the buff they gave her, and now she is overpowered. I maxed out her skills. Her Divinate is going to be nice if I do pull it from Gold Record, because it does give her a little bit more stats. Yun Chuan, you see this? His Divinate is lit up, but I'm not going to give it to him because it's going to be worse for you if you give him the Divinate. Start of turn attack buff. While it is good for some Espers, it's not good for Yun Chuan. I think I went straight for his R2 as well when he was released. When he was released, we only had Dark Starlord as the club boss, and that was the main PvE endgame. And that was what I was focused on. So I went straight for his R2. He was the best Dark Starlord unit back then in terms of DPS and in terms of support as well. Now his DPS has kind of fallen off. He can't compete anymore, but he is still one of the best support for the team. Narmer, I'm hoping I get this guy to R6 soon, but I'm probably not going to be wishing his dupes. I want to be wishing for dupes that is super game breaking, and I did pull his D3 as well from Divinate Disc. I pulled 1 copy on the Gold Record, and I have his skills maxed out. He's a beast. Bayondina, I have her at R3, all from, I think, 1 copy from Flow Records, and then the rest is from Gold Record. I don't have her skill up because she is pretty much useless outside of Dark Starlord Team 1. The Divinate is also from Gold Record. Alright, Zora is DR3, and I've never used her once. Actually, no, I used her before I got Ggez for the old version of Dark Starlord because she is a buff blocker for the team. You need buff blocker for Dark Starlord, and I didn't really have anyone else to run for the buff blocker spot. But after I got Ggez, she has been pretty much useless for me. At R6, she's gonna be pretty nice, but that's far away. Yeah, this guy kind of fell off for me because I don't have a new C for him to really work that well. He can shut down an entire team, but because Ana and Mavis exist, he doesn't really do that anymore. Before this, he could 100 to 0 an entire team because his multipliers are insanely crazy. 400% of his defense is just overpowered as hell. But now, even if you have like a million multiplier, Ana blocks all of that, right? She doesn't take any damage. You kind of need a new C to shut down the entire team before you can do his nuke. Yeah, I don't really use him anymore at all. I don't use him in PvP, I don't use him in PvE. It's kind of sad, to be honest with you. Alright, this guy, the most OP PvE character in the game right now. I pulled his R0 and then I waited like the last day to go for his R2 because I wanted to see the next info. And then just recently today, I pulled his R3. He's been insane in PvE. I also pulled 1 copy of his Divinate. I'm planning to get him to R3 or D3, but I have other priorities first. I'm gonna go for PvE characters first, and then I'll go back to him. His abilities is not maxed out, just his S3, but it's good enough. Tricky, I pulled him all from gold record. He's not max skilled up, but I do use him in PvP because he's still very good for his passive alone, right? You don't really need him to be skilled up. Sienna, also, I do use her in some of the Desolate lands, but that's pretty much it. No, actually I lied. She's used in Forbiter. Yeah, I have a Divinate 2, both from gold record. I don't use her in PvP anymore because in PvP, if you run her with against a Mavis comp, you're kind of trolling. You're asking to lose. Ife's at R3, all from gold record. She's just used in the Inferno Tower, and that's about it. I never even used her in Andras once. Elaine, I have her max skilled up because Forbiter does require you to have her max skilled up for her to do really well. And she is one of the best sleep Esper in the game right now for Forbiter. But if it weren't for Forbiter, she would probably be at 0 skill ups right now and 0 usage for me. Ethan, I pulled R1 of him. No, I pulled him at R0 from gold record, and then I went straight from R0 to R2 with the boxes. I think I made a video on that. That was back then when Tolan wasn't even released, and he was a really big boost to my speed comps. He still is because of start of turn buffs. He's gonna be really good for PvP, but back then he was even more prominent. Jinchu, recently got him to R2 through Club Wishes, and I did the tag where I pulled one copy of him from the Wish Pool, and then I claimed the free copy that they gave. So I got him to R1 immediately, and he's been insanely good for me, even with 0 skill ups and no Divinate. Just the fact that he gives the shield to my Mavis is just so overpowered. Elliot, I have no use for him right now. If I had enough Rival Runes resources, I would max him out and run him in knockout. But since it's really limited, I don't really have enough to level him out. And he's pretty much a bench warmer at this point. Intisar, I have never used her at all. No. I've used her once in Chronos when I needed a defense break, but that's pretty much it. And then I reverted back to my Red Twin, and she's never seen any use at all because I don't have her at R2. R2 she becomes decent, but it's not really anything crazy. Even at R6. At R6 she can still be used for Chronos, but that's really a long way for you to go. Lian, I pulled both copies from Go Record. Hopefully I can get her... No, I pulled one copy from Flow if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully I can get her to R2 so I can finally use her in PvP. Once I get her to R2, I'm probably gonna max her out her skills. Probably her rival runes as well, because she is R2 dependent. If you don't have her R2, then she cycles extremely bad, and she's not even worth it to run. Yuime, I went for her R0 because she is... Back then, you can still run a cleave comp with her as the speed lead, and that was decent, but after that, she just became unusable. I have her 2 copies right here. Take a look at this. I have 2 copies of Resonance, and I refuse to give it to her because this R2 is just so bad for her. 15% additional damage at the cost of 1 health sense stacks is just... It's so bad, man. If I get her Divinate from Go Record, I might give it to her, but for now she's just doing nothing in my account. She's just there for speed lead for the most part, and even still I don't really use her. I would go for Ollie instead, and then if I needed another 25% speed lead, then I would use her. Valeria, I've never used her at all as well. I pulled both copies from Go Record. Once I get her to R2, she could be useful for the Jinchu comp, but I'm not gonna level up her rival runes just for that. Probably just gonna use her in PvP in Point War, and that's about it if I get her to R2, but before R2 she's kinda useless. Hayley, I pulled both. No, I pulled 1 copy from Go Record and then 1 from Wishstones. Once I get her to R2, she's gonna be way better for PvP as well, because right now she needs to cast her S3 to give the Smelting Mastery to my allies, but once I get to her R2, she just needs to die, and then she ends up giving the Smelting Mastery to, I think, 2 allies, right? Yeah, to 2 random allies. No skill ups as well because she doesn't need it. Mavis, meta-defining PvP Esper. Pulled her the moment she got released, and I pulled 1 more copy from Go Record. Her Divinate is also from Go Record as well. No skill ups. Hyde, he's been at R0 for the longest time. I refuse to give him skill ups at this point. Even if I have him at R6 at this point, I probably won't even build him. Except for maybe like Point War. Rival Runes, I think Rival Runes is too scarce for me to give it to Hyde, even at R6. And even at R6, I would need to get his Divinate before he can start being useful. Because he gets like soloed by a Donar at this point. Sally, unfortunately, I have her at R0. I pulled just one copy of her from Gold Record. I do have her max skilled up for PvE purposes. But yeah, so outside of Sonica, I don't really use her anywhere else. Ophelia, I probably would use her more if I had her at R2, but she's been R0 for the longest time. And I have rewind her like, I think 3 times at this point. Narmer was 2 times, I think. Leora, also pulled her from Gold Record. No skill ups as well. She's been the same the moment I pulled her. Xuanpin, this is the unit that I got from the Shimmer Reverb. Been using her for pretty much every content. I've been using her with the new legendary 5-star Shimmer as well. Even though she's overpowered, I can't deny that she is really fun of a unit. Liam, one of the best R0 releases as well, pulled his Divinate from Gold Record. I'm hoping to get his Divinate 3 as well soon, but he's gonna be a lot lower in the priority. His skill ups are maxed. I even maxed out his S1 because in PvP he can carry an entire team by himself. He's super tanky and he's super fast as well. He is the DPS of the team and also the tank. Hilda, also pulled her from Wishstones. Max skilled up her. Pulled her Divinate from Gold Record as well. Been using her in PvP and some areas in PvE as well. Ana, the moment she was released, I hated her. I still hate her. She's a boring character. But the reason why I pulled her was because her win rate was abnormal. The first round of knockout, her win rate was 95% for pretty much all teams. Some teams dropped below 90%, but majority of the teams that run her had 90% win rate. That's just how busted she was, but now she is a little bit tame. She's still really overpowered. Pulled D3 of her and then pulled 1 copy of her Divinate from Gold Record, mainly just used for PvP. I do use her for Dark Starlord now because of her immunity buff, but that's about it. Suji or Daji got really lucky and pulled her really fast early on and maxed out her skills pretty much instantly and also got her Divinate. She's also one of those units that I'm gonna D3, but she's gonna be a lot lower in the priority. There we go, the new legendary 5-star. Pulled him guaranteed today and max skilled up instantly. D2, he's the first priority. I'm gonna get to D3 right now. I pulled Archibald with Wishstones and he's been super good with no skill ups as well. No Divinate, no skill ups, and he's working just fine alongside Mavis. Just makes Mavis just extra tanky and he does a lot of damage as well. Once you start to ramp up his passive, this part of his ability right here, that's gonna be pretty crazy. He starts doing insane damage. And that's about it for the legendary Espers. Let's go over like maybe the Shimmer Epics and then we'll go to my PvE teams. Alice, I don't really use her that much anymore outside of maybe Desolate Lands. All of her copies are from Gold Record and Shimmer Records. I used to use Hercules back in the day when he was useful, but once they changed his passive to no longer work against Hyde, that's where I just stopped using him. He became completely useless after that. He used to be a Hyde killer, believe it or not. You can one-shot with his S3 and then he gains an extra turn because at that time, when you kill off Hyde, it kinda counts as you killing him off. And then you gain an extra turn, you just one-shot Hyde with his S1 after that. But they changed that and now he's useless. Asenath is free. I pulled 1 copy of her, I think, from Gold Record and Shimmer Record. And then the rest is from the shop that we have right now. Lin Xiao was one of my most anticipated unit before Ggez. But I ended up getting Ggez before her and she just became useless for me. I've never used her after I got a Ggez. Because before Ggez was released, she was one of the best DPS that you can get in this game because of her guaranteed crits. But now, her multiplies doesn't really add up that much and she's not really gonna do much for you. Even at R6, she doesn't really do much. Bonnie, I do use her in some Infinity Tower when the enemies have like start of turn immunity. Zhongnan, I've Never used him outside of maybe knockout, when we had that one rule where you do like true damage on multi-hits. He was really good in that rule. Odette, I've never used her once. And Uday, after Ana got released, I don't really use her all that much, because she used to be good before Ana was released, Ana and Mavis, when you pair her out with Tever. So when Tever doesn't one-shot the enemy, because of maybe he goes for height or something, then she will just reset Tever's S3, so that your Tever can do another nuke, right? But since Tever is not viable, she also fell off pretty hard in PvP. Yalina, she's free, I don't really use her. Catherine, I do use her from time to time, and she is used for Sonica. She's also pretty good for PvP, but it's really hard to slot her in because Jin Yu Yao is just better. And then Anasidora, she also kind of fell off in PvE. We just have so many good nukers at this point that even her max HP cut is not really gonna do much for you. It's only like what, 40%, 30% at this point. Back then was 50%. It was even back then 50%. We had like Ggez that can 100 to 0 an entire team. So her 50% cut was really not that great. I don't think I've ever used Nicole before, even once. Not in PvP, not in PvE. Even when she was first released, she wasn't really that good because her cooldown was way too long, 5 turns. And the invincibility being only 1 turn, it was really nothing special. Laura, I don't really use her all that much as well. I think I used her once before they reworked Knockout, but now I don't really want to give the rival runes to her, and she does need the rival runes for her to work because her shield is based on her max HP. So yeah, that's about it. The rest of the epic espers are all R6, D6, or most of them is D6, but except for this guy. Mei is from the championship event, and I only pulled like 3 copies of him, but he's pretty much useless anyway. So now let's go over my Ritual Miracle team. My Chronos team, I'm using this team right here. I'll do a few blitz. It's not the fastest team because my Leora doesn't one-shot the second wave if I don't manual it. But yeah, I just use this team because I don't really farm Chronos anymore, so I don't really care. And then for APAP, I'm using this current team because this one can one-shot reliably. With Sachiko in the team, I can just one-shot and get 4 turns a lot easier. Now let me show you the relics real quick. That's Brewster, that's Narmer, then she doesn't need runes except for this Ggez set. That's my Suji, and then that's my Yushu. Let me show you the Chronos runes also. Brewster, Leora, Ethan, that's Ollie, and lastly Narmer. My Fafnir team is the recent one that I made a video about. It's a little bit slower because of Jingwei's nerf, but it still does the job. Still 100% clearance rate. There you go, 17 turns. Yeah, same relics as the video I made, but it's a little bit slower because now Jingwei's damage is not enough to kill off the boss if my Elaine doesn't one shot. And then my Andra's team is a little bit different. Now I'm running Liam on Astral set because it's pretty much the same turns, but it has the potential to get 12 turns a lot easier. There we go, 14 turns. It's between 12 to 17 turns. Ashley, again, same relics all around. And that's Haley. Tever is also running the same set, but this time around my Liam is on Astral. Now let's go for Desolate Lands. I don't really farm Desolate Lands all that much. Yeah, I don't even have dedicated teams for Desolate Lands. This was my old team right here. This is before I got my own Shrine Pin. I'm running a Donar, but yeah, because I don't really farm Desolate Lands all that much anymore, I can't even be bothered to give it a team. Let me see if I have like a dedicated team for this one. Yeah, even this one. Okay, this one I do have a team for it. I'm running Lu Yi and Tever. This time I have Shrine Pin. I try to farm this boss a little bit, and then let's see here. I think this one doesn't have dedicated. Okay, this one is an old team before I got my Shrine Pin as well. Same relics on Tever pretty much. Yeah, This team is not the best, but it does the job. There we go, that's Brewster. Again, Desolate Lens, I don't really change that much to the team. Maybe like once every 2 months I change it when I get new Espers. But even still, with the Champagne, I didn't really change the team that much because I can't be bothered to change it. And then lastly, this is Shadow Flow. I accidentally sold my Alice 2-piece set right here. That's why she doesn't have a set. And yeah, this team also does the job pretty well. It's guaranteed to get EX++. And that's all I need really. And that's it for the Desolate Lens. And let's go to Falsetto Fantasy. Falsetto Fantasy, I can always show you the high score, and then I'm gonna go to the club boss to show you the teams. High score is 47 on Forbiter. That's with the Jingwei being overpowered. And again, Counter Sonica 87 million. Also because of Jingwei. I can never get to 87 million ever probably. And then Dark Starlord is also with the Jingwei buff, 43 million. I think the second highest I got was like 41 million after Jingwei got nerfed. Oh wait, the club boss is not even up yet. Okay, never mind, I'll just show you the teams that I have in Sonica right now. Alright, so this is the Sonica team. Again, the same sets all around. For Falsetto Fantasy, I've never dropped out of top 100, and that's a good thing because top 100 gives me additional rewards. So as long as I can stay top 100, I'm content. I don't really need to go for PvE Espers all that much anymore. Shenpin boosted my score by quite a bit, but it's mostly due to Feng Shun being released. He just boosted my high score by like 30 million. My Forbiter team is, I think it's this one right here. This one? Yeah. My Forbiter team can improve a little bit if I got a Mateo, but so far it's pretty good. It's enough for me to stay in top 100, so I don't really need to change it that much. Getting Uran would boost my score by quite a fair bit as well, so that could be good, but I'm not gonna summon for him. If I get lucky from a gold record, then that's nice. And then lastly, my Dark Starlord team is this one right here, I think. Okay, this one is the Dark Starlord team. Yeah, same team 1. Team 1 and team 2 is unchanged, but I did change the team 3 a little bit. Instead of running Gabrielle, I'm now running Ana, because Ana cycles way better than Gabrielle, and Ana can also do more damage than my Gabrielle. Yushu still, because Yushu does provide the seer debuff at all times, which is very good. And then yeah, Shenpin is on Ocean set so that she can spam her S3. And lastly, Ana is also on the Ocean set, so I will have the immunity buff at all times so that the likelihood of Ana stunning one of my Espers is lower. And yeah, that's about it for all of the teams. I don't think I've missed any aspects of PvE for now. Yeah, I also finished up my Calamity Tower, and I recorded a video of it, but I didn't really post it. So yeah, triple squad, double squad, and single squad for all of 3 towers are all finished. I did take my time though, because I didn't really want to try hard on the tower. It's really tedious, so I couldn't really care less. And lastly, let's take a look at my records so far. My records for Chronos is 26 seconds, Apep is 17, Fafnir is 36, and lastly Andras is 34. This one is whatever. My Spatial Tower, I got 12 minutes, almost 13 minutes with this team, super old. And then lastly, Temporal 50, 34 seconds with this team. And then Temporal 60 is with Embla with this team. And these are my high score for Desolate Lens. And then lastly, in Knockout, I've averaged around top 1%. Sometimes I drop below top 1%, sometimes top 2%. Beatbot, because of the new 5-star, I got to rank 27. He's overpowered as hell. In Point War, also because of the new 5-star, I got to use my attacks easier now. But back then, before they reworked the refresh feature, I only face against 4 same enemies, so I can't really use my tickets all that well, and I would hover between like top 200 or top 300 even. But now top 100 is pretty simple, pretty easy to get. My resources is looking like this. I have 300 Wisstones. I am a hoarder. 0 gold record, however, and also some Nexus crystals. And also no divinate at this time because I'm using it to summon Iki. I am saving up my platinum records. Maybe on the off chance that they rework it, then I'll have like a few summons. But because even still, if I use it right now, I'm just going to get Shimmer Epic that I have at R6 already, right? So it's useless for me to use it right now. Might as well just save it up. Shimmer Records is looking like this. 50 plus 1400. What is that? Almost 30 summons. So almost 80 Shimmer Records. Still, after summoning for Iki. That's really crazy. I basically don't have any elementals because whenever I get to 10 stacks, I'm just gonna use them up. Yeah, I think that's it for the showcase. Yeah, I've never spent on this game at all because I don't really want to start spending on gacha games. Gacha games is the one that I really have a gripe about. It's kind of like gambling in a way. Once I justify spending $1 in a gacha game, then I can justify $2, $10, $100, right? It's just gonna keep adding up. So it's not really a good thing for me to start spending. That's why I've been trying my best to not spend on gacha games. I've never spent on this game at all, and hopefully I can stay that way forever. I do spend on games, just not gacha games. Yeah, that's about it. Ciao.